Hey, what's going on, everyone? Scooch here, and today we're going to be doing an oil change on the DelSol. So I kind of want to give a walkthrough on how that's done. I know there's a lot of videos out there, but first off, it needs an oil change badly. It's been probably like 3,500 miles now. I like to do it around 3,000. It actually might have even been a little bit more than that. Could be pushing it close to 4, but I want to get it done. And honestly, every oil change is really the same process, but I know that it's nice to kind of find the car that you're actually working on, because oil filters can be in different places and things like that. It's just nice to see what you're working on. So I haven't seen a lot of oil changes for the DelSol, but if you have one, and more specifically if you have a B16 and you want to learn how to change the oil, this is your video. This is going to help you out. So we're going to jump right into it. I've got the car pretty much all prepped. I got my oil ready. Hood's popped. I actually just got to jack it up. I came down to the barn to grab the jack so I could get it off the ground, which is always so enjoyable. Anybody that knows having your car jacked up in your driveway, because you feel so safe underneath a little metal jack that's holding up, 2,500, possibly 5,000 pounds. It's a nice feeling. You feel safe under there. So yeah, we're going to get into that, and I will see you at the top of the hill. Now, first off, if you are doing it on a DelSol, Honda very conveniently gives you a jack point at the front of the car. I don't know about the older Civics. I would assume they're the same, but I've never really worked on one. But this car doesn't really have anywhere to do it on the sides, so it's nice that they give you one on the front. That is actually this point right here, if you can see that little metal bracket piece. Put the jack on that, and she'll go right up. Alright, now once it's jacked up, and I apologize for the wind, usually what I like to do is just make sure that it's sturdy, give it a little bit of a, I don't like a shake, but, just kind of try to move it a little bit, make sure everything's okay. And you don't have to do this, but it's what I was taught to do, and, I've been told that it does help make the oil flow a little easier. If you take that cap off, just put it off to the side, and it will kind of help everything flow a little bit better once it's actually draining and everything like that. So yeah, now that we're in here, I'm pretty much going to get under the car and start working on it. But before I do that, I just want to show you guys how clean this car truly is. I keep telling everybody on the internet that this car is very clean, and obviously there's a little bit, this is obviously old, so there is some surface rust on it and things like that. But if you get way under this car, it really is very, very clean. I don't know how good of a shot you'll really be able to get, but again, it's a really clean car. I was very impressed when I bought it at how well kept it actually was. And again, aside from the rust on the rockers and the rear quarters, it's in pretty good shape. So I gotta throw the socket wrench on it, and I'll take that off, and it will start draining out. Alright, so now we're gonna actually go ahead and take the drain plug off. Now, this particular one, it is a 17. I believe most, if not all, Hondas share this size as far as, drain plugs. I believe they're all 17s, don't quote me, but I think they are. So I'm gonna go ahead, basically, righty-loosey. No, that's tighty. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Just make sure that your bucket, whatever you have underneath to catch the oil, is there, because if it goes all over your driveway, I can speak from experience that your mom is going to be mad. Don't get oil on the driveway, and you'll be in good shape. So let's take that off. This is going to be a little bit difficult to film too, but I'm going to try my best. Oh, yep, see, we missed. See, this is why you have cardboard down, and then if you miss, it just gets on the cardboard. Good news. Yeah, that oil definitely had to be changed. Alright, so before I actually get into refilling it and putting the drain plug back on, I wanted to just make a point that some of you might run into, and it's something that a great mechanic once told me. He said, Scooch, you're never going to get all the oil out. And that's what I want to show you. So as you can see, it's still dripping. You know, little tidbits here and there, little tiddlywinks of oil coming out, falling into the pan, and you're just not ever going to get it all. It'll do that pretty much forever if you just leave it. So at a point, you're going to have to just cap it and, you know, send it. If you want to sit there and wait a few hours, and, you know, by all means, have at it. But, you know, it's okay to leave a little bit in there, and your engine's going to have oil in it anyway. So, you know, it's not a problem to do that, but you do want to get as much out as possible. And this next part is actually, it's something that I recommend doing. Always get a new crush washer. Your drain plug is going to have this little washer on it already, or it should. If it shouldn't, then you might be leaking oil. That might be why you're leaking oil, if you've noticed that. So, wow, look at that Apache helicopter. I don't think you can see that. That is pretty cool. All right, anyway, back to the show. So, you're going to get one of these washers. You should have one. If you don't have one, I recommend getting one. It does help prevent oil from leaking out of the drain plug or around the drain plug, things like that. So I'm going to put one on. You can reuse them. I don't really recommend reusing them too often, maybe once, you know, depending on the condition it's in. But that's really the most I'll do it. I try to get a new one every time. I'm just anal about it. Like I like to get a new one every single time. So just take that. Take your drain plug, take your crush washer, plop it on there, and then reach under to the oil pan, toss your hand up there, and, well, actually, I usually try to wipe her down at least a little bit. Try to get as much of that residue off of there as possible. It's not always the best foolproof system, but I try to get a little bit. And go ahead and slap her in there. Always finger tight. Always finger tighten. Last thing you want to do is cross thread your oil pan, because an oil pan is an expensive fix. So you want to toss that on there, make sure she's nice and finger tight. Then you can go ahead and grab your hopefully not oiled up socket. Make sure she's all cleaned out. Grab your socket. Slap her onto your socket wrench. Make sure she's righty-tighty. And then get her up there. And just give her a nice little snug. Don't torque it. Just nice little snug. Make sure she's snug. That's it. Nothing further, just snug. Alright. Now, just give her one final wipe. Make sure she's Gucci. And we'll hop on up top. Now, this particular Honda takes 4 quarts of oil. I myself am using a crisp 10W30 Valvoline AutoZone Special. And also, I just remembered, I've been so busy filming and being involved with the camera that I forgot the second most important part of this whole job. You gotta take the oil filter off. And let me tell you, that's even less fun than taking the drain plug off. That's sometimes pretty snug on there. I might not even be able to film that. The oil filter is... where the heck is it? Push this back. The oil filter is up here. No, just... the oil filter is all the way, it's going to be tough to see, up. I'm going to reach my hand. Is it hot? A little warm. It's up here. It's up this top section. So if you follow your drain plug here, and you just look straight up and slightly to the right, that's where you're going to get your oil filter. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, in my personal opinion, this is where Subaru got it right and where Honda didn't. So, as I showed you, that filter is all the way up top. I'm actually going to be showing you how to do an oil change on the Subaru as well. That one's really nicely located. It's just right underneath. It's easy to get at. You don't have oil pouring down on top of the header and the mid pipe and everything. It's just way better. It's just way better in my opinion. You can see it leaking down. So then you got to dry her off and get back up there with that new Mobil 1 M1 104A oil filter. Top notch. Extended performance protects for up to 1 year or 20,000 miles. still going to do it every 3,000. Alright, so I gotta interrupt this program for one quick second here. This is actually a new day, and what happened was the camera filmed, but it wasn't working. This is why I need a new GoPro, or need a new camera altogether. And so basically what I wanted to tell you guys was that the section that was missed was when I was actually filling the engine back up with oil. So what you're gonna wanna do on pretty much any car, you're gonna want to take your oil cap off. A lot of them will actually say oil on them. It's tough to see here, but it does say it. Just take that off. Put your funnel in there. If you have a funnel, if you don't have a funnel, that's fine too. And then just fill it up, and you'll pretty much be all set from there. So back to the video. Now, one other little tidbit of information I have for you, this was what I was taught to do, is you can just check the oil level with the dipstick, but it doesn't really give you an accurate reading. So what you should do is start the car, let it run for like 5 seconds, and then go check the level then after, because it'll let everything flow through the engine, hit all the components it needs to, and then you're reading a more accurate level. So that's what I usually like to do. All right, let's check the level. Usually like to give it a little wipe just to make sure any stuff that might have flown up or old residue is off, so we can get a good accurate reading. Could use a little bit more. Might have been a little under 4 quarts. So I'm just gonna drop a little bit more in there. Shouldn't have to be much. Plus, doesn't kill on this car to give it a little more anyway because it burns so much of it. It burns like a quart every 1,000 miles. So it doesn't even bother me to throw a little extra in. One thing I should mention is when you do go to check the oil, make sure you cap this, because if you don't, then it can come flying out all over the place, and that's not ever good. You don't want oil flying out of there. So make sure you get all that cleaned up. All right, let's give it one more start just to make sure. All right, let's check her one more time. And that's right where you want it. That's perfect. I don't think you guys can probably see that on camera, so I'm not even going to bother putting it over there. But that's it. That's how you change your oil. Now you're all set. You're ready to go. You're good to drive. Go on an adventure anywhere you want, provided it's within 3,000 miles. So I hope this video was helpful. This is, again, I'm still getting new to some of these tutorials, so, you know, some of it could use some improvement. If you guys see anywhere I could use improvement, please let me know. I'm open to constructive criticism. I've mentioned it in videos before. I really do like to hear it because it helps me a lot. So just be sure to let me know what you thought, and if there's anything I missed. I hope there's nothing I missed, because if I did, then there's going to probably be an issue with the car. So hopefully I didn't miss anything. But yeah. Other than that, I hope the video was helpful. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I will catch you in the next video. We're going to be doing an oil change on the STI now. So, scooch out.